The 2024 U.S. Chess Championship and U.S. Women's Chess Championship kicked off today with the first round of classical action. Once again, we have a round-robin format featuring 12 of the country's best players in both sections, fighting it out for over $400,000 in prize money. With that, let's get into the first round results. And in the open section, we actually had all 6 games finish in a draw, as a couple players missed opportunities to get a large advantage, including Grandmaster Hans Niemann, who ended up drawing against the top seed and defending champion Fabiano Caruana. So going into the games, we'll start with the open, with the key game of the round being Hans Niemann playing white against Fabiano Caruana. There are a couple other big games as well, like Leinier Dominguez white against Wesley. So this game ended up being very, very sharp. Right from the opening, we got this typical Italian game where on this move, move 7, Caruana goes for this advance with queen f6, which usually comes with aggressive intentions of playing g5 on the king side. So this game definitely saw a very, very big fight. Hans starts playing on the queen side, b5, knight d8, now bishop to e3, knight e6. Caruana allows white to take on b6 if he wants to, ruining black's structure on the queen side, but then giving up the f4 square on the king side. So really, really complicated game here. We saw knight f4, d4, and Caruana spending lots of time here. He actually got into time trouble in this game, which is definitely a big factor, as he goes for some really active play, bishop g4, bishop h5, bishop to f1, and here he ends up castling. Maybe this was the moment black should have played g5. According to the engine looking to play for g4, white might have to play g4 themselves, bishop to g6, and things could get very, very messy here, but apparently it's approximately balanced. Instead, after castles, Hans might have missed some opportunities. For example, g3 here for white I think would have been pretty good, just kicking the knight back. Instead he goes rook to c1, which is also a nice move, knight to e6 from Fabi, and now g4, bishop to g6. And at this point, Hans started spending lots of time and actually had a very, very promising move here with the move h4, which could have been very annoying for black to deal with, just threatening to play g5 and trapping black's queen on the king side. So black would have to figure it out, maybe move the knight, something like knight to f4, but then white can continue either with g5 or with king h2, then followed by g5. And it feels actually very, very unpleasant for black. The engine gives white a big advantage, and it definitely this seems like a missed opportunity for Hans, who also had a big advantage on the clock. Instead, Hans goes for knight takes e5. Actually a very shocking tactic. I was quite surprised when I saw this one. His point after takes, queen takes, is knight f3, and now black's queen actually is short on squares. If queen d6, white can exchange on d6, and then win the bishop on b6. And if queen f6, then e5. Actually, once again, the queen is trapped on the king side. So here, Caruana, despite the time pressure, he does find basically only moves to survive here. Queen takes e4. White wins the piece back with bishop takes b6. And now the queen is under attack on e4. It's hard to find a good move. If queen d5, there's bishop takes c7 tactics in the position. Knight on e7 is hanging. Queen f4 is also very, very loose. And the queen can get in trouble here and get hit very easily with moves like bishop to e3. So Caruana finds very nice defense, rook a d8 counterattack, where it turns out black is okay. Hans goes knight to d4. The point here is that if white takes the queen on e4, then black is taking on d1, will recapture with bishop takes e4. Bishop on b6 is still hanging, and so the tactics end up working out here for black. Knight d4 from Hans, nice move keeping the attack going on the queen on e4. Queen f4, bishop takes a5. Here the players find a nice series of forced moves, where after the exchange on d4, rook takes d4, queen e2. Turns out we get just lots of trades in the position, and eventually things come down to this relatively equal endgame. White is still a bit better here because he can go after the b6 pawn, but seems like black is in time with the counterplay with h5. So trades on f4, and Hans did try to push this one a bit and look to maximize his winning chances, but Caruana was able to defend despite the time pressure, and eventually he does hold this one as he brings all the pieces back. Some pieces get traded off here. Eventually the players do get a rook endgame here as well, and eventually black's weakness on the b file was just not really enough. Here king f2, if white were to take this one, then king h5, and black is getting enough counterplay on the king side. So Caruana does end up saving this one, Definitely a big half-point save, as Hans certainly had his chances in this game.
Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe.